marketing has a visual component and it has a theoretical component. So the visual component would be you got to do videos, you got to do album covers, you got to do advertising campaign, you got to do publicity pictures. So you got to do publicity, and you got to do the kind of stuff that exposes people visually outside of the music part of it at radio or now the internet. So now you add an internet division. So when you run the marketing side of a record company, you've got the internet guys, you got the publicity people, you got the video department, you got the art department, you got the advertising department, you got the merchandising department. People got to put up stores, they got to make displays, they got to do all that. The merchandising department can be a function of the sales department because they actually overlap, because merchandising has to do with the record stores that you sell. Well, now the internet department does the same thing. You have the marketing side of the internet department, which is an exposure side. Then you have the sales relationship. So the sales is an adjunct in that area. So these things start to bleed. So marketing becomes an overall thing that sort of bleeds into many areas. The idea of figuring out who an artist is and being able to articulate that visually, body structure, photograph, intriguing, mystery, all of that stuff. Some artists walk in the room and they tell you exactly who they are, and they'll show you what they want to be, or they are what they want to be. Some come in and they go, I don't really know, what can I do? Well, I worry about the ones that come in and don't really know. Very rarely do they succeed. Usually it's a collaboration. It's that same kind of thing. I collaborate with people. Artists will come in and say, I want this. I remember many times, it's my David Byrne experience. Here's a guy with a huge amount of information, art school graduate, knows more than I do. Guy can teach me something. I don't have an ego about it. Teach me things. I'll show you guys I know. You show me. I was in France. I got a guy. I know somebody. I met a guy from another band. Stephen Johnson, the guy who did early Talking Heads records, did all the Peter Gabriel's videos, because that was at Warner Bros. We did, Sledgehammer and all of those videos. I was turned on to the guy who directed Sledgehammer by a band that was never successful. They had a friend at UCLA who was a filmmaker. That band doesn't become successful. That filmmaker wins 2 Video Over the Year awards, because I look at what he does and I say to Peter Gabriel, I got somebody who can make a video for you. I want to introduce you to him. Well, 2 of them get together. I basically stay out of it other than the introduction and then some little input, and they make a video together. So, that's part of the process of what somebody like I do. Every record company has a head of video. The overarching head of marketing has basically got to tell everybody what we're marching towards. That often doesn't happen in the record business. That's the biggest cause of failure I see. And I'm not saying that I'm immune to it. I'm just aware of it. The theoretical component on dealing with an artist is sort of figuring out who they are. Who they are and why would people want to buy them. What is about me that you're going to like? And that's the physical manifestation of it. Here's an interesting story about signing Fiona Apple. We were at the work group. Andy Slater, who was a manager and a journalist and a friend of mine, who now runs Capitol Records, comes to me because he had managed the Wallflowers, Jacob Dylan and the Wallflowers for me at Virgin, and Warren Zevon when we were at Virgin. We have this long-standing relationship because I know him because he was one of the junior managers of Don Henley when I worked with Don Henley. So this is how these kinds of strains of relationship happens. He and I form a relationship. I start this new label. He discovers an artist through Kathy Shanker, who was Sting's publicist, who I worked with at A&M. So this shows you the 6 degrees of separation. She brings Andy a tape of a young girl who babysat for a friend of hers, a 16-year-old, 17-year-old girl named Fiona Maggart. Fiona Apple Maggart. I don't know her name is Maggart then. I know her name is Fiona Apple. Andy comes and plays me this thing. I never see the person. He plays me 3 songs. I say, I want to sign her. I want a label. I'll give you a label. I want to sign her. I don't want anybody else signing her. Because I fall in love with Fiona Apple without ever seeing her. I don't even know what she looks like, other than I know Andy and he tells me she's good looking. The young kid, she's good looking. Trust me, she's good looking. With a wink in his eye, and I know the guy. So that's what happens when you sort of can, that's the musical side of it. Fiona Apple comes in and sees it, and I go, I'm done. I can do this all day long. this girl's gorgeous. So music plays a huge part of it, the hugest part of it. Now, I have been able to have lesser musical talents sell records because the entertainment business is not all about music, it's about charisma. So would I say that Paula Abdul is a great singer? No, but she was a great entertainer. Would I say that Jennifer Lopez was a great singer? She was a pretty good singer, but an amazing entertainer, an actress, and she could make herself exude the stuff. Same thing with Madonna. Madonna morphs from being a lesser singer to the great female, entertainer of the last 35 years. Did I know that at the beginning? I might have suspected it, but I sort of knew at a certain point there was a way of packaging her so people would be, because she knew how she packaged herself to be able to seduce me. I don't mean physically, I just meant as an artist. But she was seductive. Jennifer Lopez, Paula Abdul, all these people. The art of seduction is basically the game for artists. They create a desire in people to want to own what they do. I want to be a part of that. I want to follow you. I want to listen to you. I want to be interested in you. We just have to figure out how to take that and make it better.